5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Madam Commandant, one of the things that I think in the recruitment you could look at is if we did recruitment like we do the rest of our service academies, where members of Congress can make appointments to the Coast Guard, that might be a way of closing that gap, since the other service academies, they're doing a pretty good job at fulfilling that. For some of the newer members on the committee, as you know, the Coast Guard is the only service academy where we can't make nominations to. And when you look at where most of the people in the Coast Guard come from, they come from either the East Coast or the West Coast. So if you're in Texas or Oklahoma, or Mississippi, or these other places, we don't have as many people. So I'm just throwing that out as an option. So the other thing I'd like to talk a little bit about is the process that we included, that the ship had to be built by an American-owned company. Am I correct?
Yes.
So can you tell me how many shipbuilders that could build that ship that's American-owned?
Polar Security Cutter will be is a complex ship to build. We have a number of shipyards, particularly along the Gulf Coast of the United States. As the contract was bid, any yard that won that bid was going to need to make significant capital investments in their structure, and that yard, which is now Bollinger, Mississippi, has made those capital investments and are in a position to build the ship.
So did that slow the process down, saying it had to be built by an American company?
So I'll have my staff come back to look at, as we were making those, the bid and the contract award decisions, and give you clarity there. There's a limit to the National Defense Industrial Base. We compete with the Navy for shipyard building capacity and ship repair capacity. The nation needs all of the capacity we have and more to ensure a ready force, and it applies to us as one of the branches of the armed services.
So when was the last time the Coast Guard took receipt of an icebreaker?
The icebreakers that we are currently operating, the Coast Guard Cutter Polar Star was commissioned in 1976, and the medium icebreaker, Coast Guard Cutter Healy, was commissioned about 10 years after that. So it has been a number of years since we've commissioned a new icebreaker, heavy icebreaker, for operation in either the Antarctica or the Arctic.
So do you have any knowledge of how often a request was made to Congress to fund an icebreaker?
I don't have the specifics of the funding ask and then the appropriation journey that we've been on, but happy to work with your staff, because we have.
Yeah, I think it's important that if the Coast Guard made the request that we need money to either build or expand the fleet, and Congress didn't award the money, I mean, I think that would be significant for it. So we both have talked about Operation Foul Anchor. Are you comfortable with where that process is right now within the Coast Guard?
With regard to Operation Foul Anchor, the legacy mishandling of sexual assaults at the Coast Guard Academy in the 80s and 90s, we continue to work with the congressionally directed IG investigation and will remain responsive. I respect the role of oversight. As we wait for the investigation to complete, we have begun action as a service. I initiated a 90-day accountability and transparency review. There were 33 directed actions. 18 of them have been completed. But more importantly, this is a journey that will continue. This is not a checklist that when it's done, we're done. This is how we will create culture intolerant of any kind of harmful behavior as a service, And I am excited about the progress we've made and welcome an opportunity to share more details.
Thank you. You're back.